Oh my god. October 1st. What the fuck, man? Last night was pretty fucking trippy. Cause I was brought back to memories, which in essence like going back in time. Cause I actually go back to that point and I observe it like it's happening. But I observe it not as me going through it. I observe it as somebody outside watching it. So that's a fucking trip right there. And some shit that is coming through to me that, like, how did I miss this? You know? Um, because I don't know if you saw my other post from today, but these last few years of this whole quiet reflection and stuff basically has been like a life review. You know, kind of like that movie, Defending Your Life. Defending the choices you made or didn't make, or your intention if it was unsure. But they should have known. It should be known because, you know, from the inside, you're being monitored. Oh, excuse me, right? Confirmation. So I guess it's more of like, this is what we picked up from you. Is that what you truly meant? I'd be like, yeah. I mean, like I said, the whole black and white of it, either somebody's going to be a karmic lesson for me, or I'm going to be a karmic lesson for them, or both, or whatever. But in any event, it's an agreed upon exchange of energies, exchange of experience, exchange of interaction. And as long as it goes to plan and it's something that I grow from or they grow from, hopefully we mutually grow from it. But the only way the other person is gonna grow from it is if they take stock in it and what transpired. So there's that. In any event, something happened during the time I was going to school at University of Alaska Southeast and then University of Alaska Juneau. So the Ketchikan and Juneau campuses. It was a part of some kind of scandal. I get bits and pieces of it. I also don't feel like, well, it's not linear time. It wasn't something that happened in a series of events. I think there were different times that got all congealed into one, so it appears as though it's one big scandalous event kind of connected, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's on different levels, different dimensions that, you know, when you look down on it, all the dimensions appear as one dimension as opposed to looking at a cross section. Feel me? Because when I look at a cross section, I see that they're different. They stem from an original thought or choice that I made, but then there are all these other different ways that it could have played out and still lead to where I am right now. Ugh, this is so fucking it's kind of cool because it's like yeah, I'm a paradox. I'm complicated but simple. It appears simple, but just depends on how you look at it. If you're looking down, it's complicated because you can see, well, that's the different. You don't really know that they're at different depths, though. It's like having like when you're making animation, you have a cell for the background, a cell for the foreground, a cell for the action, all these different layered cells that create one image. But the cells are so thin, they can be, stacked that much. But when you're looking down on it, it just appears all at the same, as opposed to looking at it a cross section. Fuck. But why? Somebody try to play me for a chump. I got caught up in some sort of scandal, and well, at that time in my life, I hadn't made it to this level, so I think my revenge skills or corrective action that I took might have stung the other person. It might have cost a job or two, or it definitely shared somebody's true nature. And I think that could be why they may have taken up arms against me or held a grudge and tried to participate in my downfall and fuckery, only to find that they're going to get their ass handed back to them yet again. Because I was like, why the fuck is, things weren't making sense. But then when I looked at it at the cross section, I was like, oh, well, that's because it really didn't happen at all as one cohesive incident, space-time. It was different levels. So, being it was different levels, it was somebody, would that have been my doing or their doing? Somebody's doing that kept bringing me back to to get a different result, to get one up on me. And when they couldn't, because ultimately I just kept handing their ass back to them in this game, which I didn't realize I was playing a game at that time. I was just, just being myself. But they knew I was playing a game. Yeah, fuck everybody and everybody on the outside of me fucking knows, I guess. Well, not everybody. There are others out there like me that don't know that this is how long this has been a game and stuff. So yeah, they tried to delete. Which brings up, in June of this year, I was laying here in bed, listening to music and everything, just floating in my thoughts and stuff. And for whatever reason, I sat up abruptly so fast that it knocked my headphones off. And then my eyes were fluttering. But I was very aware, even very, very conscious and aware of what was going on, even though my body was doing something that I was not asking it to do. It was, all right. Oh, dude, look at that. That is some heavy energy. Anyway, so this is awesome. Having this interaction, LARPing and catching it on video. So it's like y'all can watch yourself in action as it's unfolded. So it's like in watching Spaceballs. Where are we now? living in the now of the movie. Oh, fuck. That's fucking good times. Whoever wrote that part in, oh my goodness. Okay, I can't take credit for this. This is, oh, that's lovely. So if you view your life like I view my life, like it's like an episode, every day's a fucking episode. It's like, who wrote this episode? That's good times. And it's entertaining for me because it gives me brain candy. I see the connections, and that means that person and I are on the same wavelength, and they know how to entertain me and hold my interest. Ah, fuck, I love it. Fucking love it. We're in the now. Where are we? That's good. So then that means that me telling about that day that I sat up and then I kept speaking about it. We weren't talking like this, but I was talking in my room. Like, how come I keep asking about it and nobody's responding? I would not get any insight to that. But then I was doing a download, and it was during a celestial time, kind of like, like right now. It's got to be. It's October 1st, and we've crossed over to us and everything. And so yeah, I kept asking about it. And at that time, I was still talking to my friend in Boston and everything. And well, we're not friends anymore. I was guided to shut that down. Yeah. Yeah. I kept getting some hints, but you know me, I keep giving chance after chance after chance because I see the good in people, or I want to see. Well, I know I see both. I see the potential, and I see that it's there, and I see the capacity. I just wish people could see this in themselves. Fuck, how amazing and beautiful they are. Anywho, something's not making right. These revelations came to me last night. And I'm like, I don't remember. This doesn't make sense because it doesn't feel like it was in this actual timeline, or even the one we're just now separating from. Wow, you can really, really fucking see my energy. But even though I forgot where I was going with that, but I'll still just pick up, it'll still make sense. Even though I couldn't figure out why yet, because that's if I want to put forth the thing. But I did post, I got up at 9 something, and I felt like 10 minutes to me. And but then it was like 11 something of scrolling and getting downloads and posting and and typing and stuff and putting out the visuals, putting out, speaking and visuals, energy, words, texts, not text, posts. Yeah. So yeah, that's telling. Somebody might need to know that. And a lot of why a lot of why I share of what I do and why I share my journey and the phenomena that's happening to me and stuff is because I'm not the only one that's awake. I might be the only one that's awakened to this degree, but there are plenty that are awake, but they don't know they're awake yet because they haven't connected, had their first like major connection. They've had little things that they're hip to that they're beginning to notice, starting to notice cracks in their own personal bubble, in their own in their own realities, but they haven't connected connected the dots, connected the cracks, connected the occurrences, and they definitely don't see the connection between what's going on within in their being, what's going on with their being, is so in their household, their body physically where it is, if it's at work, in the car, or the grocery store, whatever the fuck, and then connecting that also what's going on locally around them, and then globally, and and all the different layers and stuff. A lot of people are being waking to the fact that there are connections, because, well, like, not just me, because I quit really speaking here. I was speaking more personally, just me and source energy, until now. I've been and only recently inspired to do this again, but plenty of others have been keeping up with waking up, speaking out and everything, and sharing their perspectives, their downloads, and all that jazz. So that's taken the weight off me, because this fuck, and I hear a lot, and a lot of messages that comes through. Oh my gosh, you're so strong. And I think, because to me, it's my everyday. It's my 24/7 infinity, right? So I don't know any relief from this. Since it kicked in, I don't get relief. Not yet. It's coming. I know that. I do get moments and stuff, because things have really eased up since getting a lot firmer and everything, and doing my call outs and pointing out patterns, and making demands, making changes, and shit like that. And fucking their shit up. That's the stuff that I'm doing. But then there are those that are playing the game along with me, that um that I remember when we were living at the White House in Toke, and I put out there, yeah, y'all can write it up however you want. And I was serious. So by releasing that, people got, those that were playing along, tuned in and playing along with me this whole time, before I was aware that this was a game, but they were aware. because, like the Truman Show, everybody else fucking knew but Truman, um, started writing in and making changes and stuff and helping with the connections, and I love it. That's what's entertaining. And then I see where others that were playing the game that were playing against, good versus evil, um where they tried, and I'm like, that doesn't entertain me. Fuck, I don't even want to go finish hearing that storyline and then cutting it off, and that's it. There's like, do I even fucking care? So somebody's, oh, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So I guess there was a post about what was it about? Was it about med beds? Was being discussed, and it was put out for half a day, and then it got pulled down. And by doing that post, oh yeah, it generated more curiosity, more eyes, more conscious, cracks and shifts opening by that post getting put out and taken back. And so that kind of ties into with what I stumbled across in my own thoughts, like, why would I have this? Why would I? And then it also ties into the fact, like, when I had that predetermination, it was supposed to be a predetermination when actually he had already determined he was trying to get rid of me, but he was going to try to take me down in front of when Scott was going to fire me and be like, look what I did, because he's, fucktard. And I ended up using his own action and words against his stupid ass, took control of the meeting, and then smacked his ass and called out his shit on the record, on video, that he claimed to, that he was going to represent the district, right? District of Columbia. They're all districts to me. But at that time, he was not acting as a living being. He was acting as an agent and as a trustee, and I called him out as such. And he acted in dishonor, in huge dishonor, which also would have got them to lose the game. So then he had to hide all that and not only hide it, but spread lies about it and try to take me down for it. Because it's the old stupid story, where somebody does something and then their reputation or whatever, that whole thing, they gotta go like balls to the walls, to keep their fucking secret. Exactly. This is how stupid this is. So anyway, yeah. But I not knowing that at that time, but just knowing that, yeah. And I was guided. I used his shit and his whatever against him, called him out, and set the stage back then for now. Ooh, well, that's kind of cool. That also ties in the whole hindsight is 2020. Not that that happened in the 2020s, but still, when you're looking back, you see things clearly. Interesting. So, I had no idea any of this